appreciate all of you coming here. And I'm standing in front of all of you today to communicate one very important point, that travel is fatal. And I'm going to prove this point, and I'll prove it from my own experience. Not long ago, I started my journey. My journey from India to an entirely different continent. I traveled across the globe and came to this new place called the United States of America. Well, as I landed off my plane, I must admit I was scared. I thought, I don't know anybody in this entire continent. I don't know anyone in this country. What am I going to do here? And a part of me really wanted to go back. But then I thought, let's see what's in store for me. Let's see what this travel brings for me. I was hungry. I was really hungry. And I saw McDonald's and I thought, this place is just like India. I went there. I ordered my usual food. I said, give me a burger, a large fries, and a large Coke. And the guy brought me my food. And I looked at him. And yes, I do have to bend my neck to talk to most Americans. And then I looked at the food and I thought, it's enough to feed 4 people. It's not like Indian McDonald's. I sipped the Coke right from the airport at Salt Lake City and came down to Provo. I still couldn't drink the whole large Coke. The next day, I decided to go to school. As I was walking to school, I saw random strangers. And they were all smiling at me. And I was confused. I looked back a couple of times just to realize nobody's standing behind me either. And as I walked, strangers came and they smiled. And I just thought, maybe I'm looking pretty today. I went to my first class, and it was an HR class. And they were all talking about no discrimination based on age and allowing everyone to work as long as they want to work. And I thought in my mind, aren't we all supposed to retire at 60, just like we do in India? These people are just missing the wonderful retirement parties. What are they doing here? I talked to a lot of people, and they said my English was wonderful. They were amazed how I spoke such perfect English. And I thought, in India we've spent around 300 years with Britishers. That's enough to know a language. Well, I started taking classes and I started getting lots and lots of positive feedback. They just made me feel like I was the best person. I was the best person in the whole mankind. But then I thought, what about the negative feedback? What about the critical feedback? Am I not in school just to know where I'm not good at, where I need to improve? But they're just telling me what I'm good at. That's something I'm already good at. Why do I care to know? Well, time went by, and then one day I saw snow. It was pretty. Boy, it was so pretty. I had read several novels about it. They all said it's very nice. But I need to tell you, one day I was just walking towards Wilk, and from that snow I saw little flowers, and it was the most wonderful thing I'd ever seen. And I just thought, well, I found paradise. I want to be here. Time passed by, things changed. This paradise changed after one winter. I realized after 4 months of winter and negative temperature, the snow doesn't feel good anymore. The beautiful flowers I once saw, they aren't there anymore. There's nothing. I was fed up of the snow. And yes, the weather changed, the climate changed, but I also changed. And I realized with time, I've changed so much. I've turned into a different person. And maybe it's because of this travel experience. I thought, now I smile at strangers. And I do it even in New York, when people look back and then they give me a weird look as to why am I smiling at them. But now I feel it's okay to smile at strangers. It's good to greet everyone with a smile. It just makes me feel good. I also realized Okay, I need negative critical feedback, but I need some positive feedback. I need somebody to tell me that I'm good. I also realized I'm never going to be exceptional unless and until I know what my strengths are. I really need to develop my strengths. And statistics prove it as well. If you really want to offer negative feedback, if a manager wants to do that once, he needs to give positive feedback at least 5 times. That makes it easier for people to handle the negative feedback. And it wasn't just about my thinking, it wasn't just about what I felt about the snow. It was also about meeting new people. I met so many different people from different places. And these people had an entire lifetime behind them. And when I met them, I shared part of my thinking, but I learned from their thinking as well. I met this wonderful guy from Italy who talked about food and who also talked about mafia, something I hadn't heard about before. I also met this guy from Madagascar who shared a wonderful story, and he told me there's a custom in Madagascar that you ought to steal a cow just to convey that you're old and wise enough to get married. I met this wonderful lady who was a language teacher for people in Afghanistan, and she shared their experiences, and they were so wonderful. She knew more about eastern part of the world than I did, though I came from there. And I realized I changed so much, and I changed as a person just because of this travel experience. And I realized, yes, the travel was fatal, but it was fatal to bias. Just like Mark Twain once said, travel is fatal to bias, travel is fatal to prejudice, it is fatal to bigotry. And we all need it on these accounts only. You cannot be broad-minded, you cannot be more charitable until and unless you travel. You need not just vegetate in one small corner of the world. You need to go to places. I did. I went to Canada, only to realize it's just the 51st state. I went to France, and I realized it's fine to spend 4 hours eating dinner because that's your time with your family. That's the time when you get to know people. You all need to go places. Maybe you need to go to India to just see how we fight with street vendors for a penny, and we are good negotiators. And then we fight with our friends just because we want to pay their $1,000 restaurant bill. Maybe you need to go to Japan just to see how tsunami or earthquake or something or the other destroys them year after year, and they know it's going to happen, but they still work hard and they're still successful. Maybe you need to go to US and just see how one person's dream created this wonderful place called Disneyland that can bring happiness to everyone aged 1 or 100. And it's not just about all these exotic places. It could even be Provo, Utah. That's what it was for me. And it's not just even about places. It's about experiences. Those experiences that open your horizon, that open your mind. And you see new things. You see things from a different perspective. So for that, you need to meet new people. You need to do things that you've never done before. It could be switching a career. It could be talking to someone you've never talked to. It could be going to a slum one day and realizing how it is to be poor or to be rich. And if you do so, it'll allow you to have a new perspective. It'll allow you to be more innovative. But more than that, it'll allow you to be more thankful and humble for what you have. And I'd share one experience when I felt that. I worked as a volunteer teacher for blind. And when I first went there, I just felt thankful. I just felt thankful to God for being able-bodied and for getting all these blessings in life. I know I was talking to this little girl and she asked me, "What is a state?" And I said, "It's smaller than a city and bigger than a country." Do you know what a country is? Do you know what this place looks like where you live? And she just said, I just know my home in the school. What's a city? And I still couldn't explain. And I felt thankful that I had this broad horizon. But you know what? As I talked to them and as I went there longer and longer, I realized I was wrong before. I don't just have to be thankful for what I have. They are happy with what they have. I realized they are much more happier than I am in my life with all the things. They are much more talented than I am. So it taught me not just to be thankful, but eventually be more humble. And it taught me that I have more to learn from them than I have to offer. And if you really see all these experiences, you would learn to adapt to different cultures. But more than that, you'd learn to understand humanity. You'd see all of us are different. Yes, we are. You and me, we differ. But there's something that connects us. Something that is common between us all. Something that binds us all together. And you need to experience that. It's true, travel is fatal. Experience is fatal, I'd say. But you need to let it be fatal to your biases. You need to experience it. You are just a product of your experiences. See new things and let it kill your biases. Thank you.